Gentrification is an inevitable phenomenon. Many metropolitan cities have implemented different gentrification policies to revitalize and add competitiveness to the urban setting. Korea, especially Seoul, has aggressively employed gentrification, creating iconic locations such as Gyeongnidan and Garosugil within the past 20 years. However, the lifespan of these emerging areas has been cut short. Contrary to its initial purpose of inviting a new wave of young culture artists, entrepreneurs, and small business owners to transform the urban landscape, this was soon replaced by large corporations and franchises due to expected commercial benefits. Furthermore, due to the growing popularity, the rents skyrocketed, not to mention the price of real estate, forcing these first generations to leave. Behind the commercial vibe and charm, these gentrification efforts are now being orchestrated by big companies with financial superiority. The gentrification process in Seoul has resulted in significant commercialization in Garosugil, an area now referred to as Europe in Seoul, known for its upscale boutiques, bars, cafes, galleries, restaurants, and shops. Garosugil, being located just inside of Shinsa Station Boulevard, had remained an underdeveloped area for a long time in Seoul. In 1982, however, as Haebangchon, an art gallery, entered Garosugil, the history of Garosugil changed forever. As Haebangchon entered Garosugil, other galleries followed, forming Harang Street, which translates to the Street of Art Galleries. Harang Street was a quiet street mainly attended by local residents or people who bought and sold art. Younger generation, however, began to form an appearance when a class for costume design opened nearby. As fashion students and designers came rushing in, they began to form spaces of their own unique artistic taste. However, full-scale changes to the area came with the IMF financial crisis in 1997. As the demand for artworks disappeared due to the economic crisis, all but a few galleries left Garosugil. Shortly after these galleries left, designer shops selling handmade clothes and accessories began to enter the empty spaces of Garosugil, as fashion designers who could not complete their studies due to the currency crisis returned to Garosugil. Mainly consisting of old two-story shops and multiplex houses, Garosugil was known for its narrow spaces and inexpensive rents. Thus, the interests of the landlords were hit hard by the currency crisis, and the poor artists were a good match for each other. As people of various art genres such as fashion, architecture, and movies flocked, Garosugil was naturally reborn as a street of comprehensive art. Without the IMF crisis, Garosugil might still have been Harang Street. Since 2005, luxurious cafes, workshops, select shops, restaurants, and bars have settled in Garosugil, creating a unique atmosphere of the street of artists. Garosugil soon became a popular tourist attraction and attracted more people as it received a lot of attention from broadcasting media and social media platforms. Consequently, an increasingly large population of people started visiting Garosugil, and thus the region itself underwent a big change. The rapid growth and development of the Garosugil commercial district over the past 10 years have led to an explosive rise in rent, leading Garosugil to follow the typical path of the gentrification process in Seoul. As rents began to rise, cafes that had created the unique atmosphere of Garosugil closed down and left, and franchise coffee shops such as Starbucks took over. However, the decisive blow occurred when large-scale global clothing brands such as Zara, H&M, Forever 21, and Mango replaced the designer shops over the past few years. Eventually, due to the increasingly expensive rent, natives and small stores were forced to leave, and only the franchise stores of large companies remained in Garosugil. As a result, the culture and artistic uniqueness of Garosugil gradually disappeared out of sight. Disappointed by the commercialization of the area, people stopped visiting Garosugil, and once again, the commercial district of Garosugil collapsed. Similar to Garosugil, Gyeongnidan is just another case of a gentrification effort that failed. Gyeongnidankil's unique identity formed as small business owners who sought for low rent began to gather one by one. Until the early 2000s, Gyeongnidan was tied up as restricted development zone due to its location close to the Yongsan US military base, and like Haebangchon was just a simple residential area where many foreigners visited. Then, as the US military base relocated to Pyeongtaek, restaurants and bars began forming rapidly. Beginning in 2011, Gyeongnidan became increasingly famous among youngsters as a number of exotic restaurants from Thailand, Mexico, Italy, China, and Pakistan were introduced to the media. Soon, unique cafes and clothing stores began entering Gyeongnidan as well. In 2012, Itaewon's designation as the World Food Specialty Street ignited the revitalization of the commercial district of Gyeongnidan. In addition, restaurants with unique dishes and menus quickly rose to fame in various social media platforms, further attracting more tourists and customers. However, the popularity of Gyeongnidan did not last long. With the revitalization of Gyeongnidan, rents soared accordingly. At first, the region went viral, the number of visitors increased naturally, leading to sound business and rise in sales. However, the landlords and the owners of real estate raised rents in line with the increased sales. As the rise in rent and decrease in sales came hand in hand, native people who had been doing business in the area for a long time and store owners who originally contributed to the formation of commercial districts were no longer able to withstand the financial burden and were forced to leave Gyeongnidan. In the end, gentrification naturally occurred as large franchise companies took over the neighborhood alongside a few self-employed people who could afford high rents. The collapse of Gyeongnidan can be attributed to the loss of the unique characteristics of the area, as large franchise businesses damaged the distinctiveness of the region. Gyeongnidan in the first place was known for its unique restaurants and stores, but as its local characteristics faded away, there no longer was a reason for tourists to visit the area, eventually leading to the collapse of the region's commercial district. It thereby seems necessary to re-establish a unique identity and culture of Gyeongnidan in order to escape the typical and vicious cycle of commercial gentrification that usually follows the path of A. Formation of regional characteristics, B. Increase in rent, C. Gentrification, and D. Collapse of commercial district due to loss of regional characteristics. Gentrification in universal context refers to the process in which higher income or higher status people relocate to or invest in low-income urban neighborhoods that have historically been disinvested by both private and public sectors. Now, in the context of Korea, this is only partially correct as in most cases higher income or higher status groups enter neighborhoods that once had been low income but have commercialized and transitioned into a high income urban center. This, in essence, is the commonly used definition of gentrification in Korea. However, in the United States, gentrification is when higher income people typically move to low income neighborhoods to capitalize on the low property values. In doing so, they inflate the property value, displace low-income people, and fundamentally change the character and culture of the neighborhood. Usually, in most cases, white people of high-income class take an active role in reshaping low-income black communities, commonly referred to as ghettos. In this context, gentrification refers to the legacy of racial inequality. However, in Korea, gentrification takes the form of commercial gentrification, in which economic inequality between small business owners and large franchise businesses takes place. As formerly underdeveloped neighborhoods form a unique culture or characteristics and become popular attractions or urban centers, property values and rents escalate. As a result, small businesses that can afford the heightened rents are replaced by franchise companies with large capital. This type of financial inequality between two different types of businesses is representative of commercial gentrification in Korea.